The Beginning. Past Life Sufferings by Clinton Sipes. I grew up in a dysfunctional family established in the atmosphere of alcoholism and physical and emotional abuse from my father. Without a positive father figure, I basically developed antisocial behavior and a penchant for violence. I began to imitate what I was being exposed to, and this process of imitation began unconsciously. It affected my interaction with my older brother, classmates, teachers, and also with animals. Nothing was free from the contained sadistic outpouring of anger and rage. At the age of 13, I associated with similar children, but as they weren't as compulsive as me, I quickly got bored. I started hanging out with the kind of young adults who welcomed my willingness to participate unreservedly in anything under the heading of alcohol, drugs, crime, violence, and racism. The period in the reformatory, prison for teenagers, began, and the environment shaped me, refining the inclination to crime into a full-time skill. Violence and racism were sharp as a razor. An environment of negativity that fueled my growing anger and hatred of authorities, blacks, Jews, and Asians. After 3 years of this reform period, I was released. I was a walking grenade. In search of a focus to release this hatred, I joined a racist paramilitary group made up of young adults. I took part in regular attacks on people and engaged in various criminal activities. At 16, I found myself incarcerated serving a 6.5-year sentence in California prison for robbery, assault, and weapons use. I immediately identified with the white supremacist gangs and cultivated my hatred and rage into pure hate of all people who were not Anglo-Saxon. I started corresponding with the Ku Klux Klan, and when I was released on parole, I carried even more hatred. For the next 3 to 4 years, my activities were heavily involved with the Klan in cross-burning, media appearances, nightly beating raids, property violations, etc. My parole was violated for weapons possession and suspicion of assault. Search for Peace. Young adult with the last parole violation, at the age of 20, the search for peace began. I had so much anger and hatred inside me for so many years that it was starting to eat me up inside. I would throw my hatred at the prison staff. I had hate literature, graffiti, drawings covering the walls of my cell, and tattoos covering half my upper body. I wasn't exploding, but imploding. In a fit of rage, I ended up naked in solitary confinement and without even a mattress. Just me and a styrofoam cup. I began to review my past and the negatives that had led me to this point of reduction in the lowest terms. While I was there, my daughter was born. I began to evaluate my future. I began to think about the lives of the many victims I had affected. I could see myself in prison for the rest of my life if this past continued into my future. I said to myself, Clint, you have to choose between this bad future or a good one. It was clear to me that there was no future of longevity in this evil. My family, mother, girlfriend, brothers, were afraid of me. I alienated myself from them. I started looking for purity to purge the cancer from inside me. I wanted to be loved and to love in a pure sense. I simply didn't want to hate anymore. I moved to Montana and was arrested for burglary. I was sentenced and served 2.5 years of a 5-year sentence, and was released on parole, which was successfully completed. I got involved with human rights groups and started my own human rights group, CHERE, Children Escaping Racist Environments. My aim was to reach out to children to help them escape from environmental circumstances that had overwhelmed me. I wanted to help where I had already been the problem, but was still involved in crime. I was involved in possession of explosives and was arrested by the federal government and sentenced to 35 months in federal prison.